All right, what's going on, y'all? All right, want to say shalom. I want to talk about um, Pastor Dow and his situation. He trusts me. I met him for the first time in 2010 during an event called GOTS, GOTS, Gathering of the Saints. Um, he had one wife at the time. Here, he has four wives here. I think the other one is off the screen on the right side, to our right looking. He has four wives. His first wife was the one on the far left. That's his first wife. But he ended up getting three more wives. And that's something to talk about. I think I talked about it before about polygyny and how it's allowed. And that should not be an issue for someone coming into the Torah, and when they see a man with multiple wives, should feel envious or something like that. It's not for y'all to feel like that. Wait a minute. It's not for people to feel envious of him because he has four wives or whatever the case. He has a big assembly. He has multiple camps or areas that brothers hold the Straitway. Um, you know, they hold up his assembly in different areas, and he has a big following. He even have celebrities that follow him and stuff like that and things like that. So he's very well known, very has a very vast following. And when you're talking about dealing with sisters, you need your wives to handle these situations with the women and children. So your wives would be in position to handle all of these people that you've accumulated. Your one wife on the far left wouldn't be able to handle all of that. She's getting tired. She needs some help. You getting tired. It's just like you need some young help to handle these women and children, and it lightens the burden. Normally older women start to understand how polygyny is good originally, when they get tired and have a lot of weight on their shoulders. Like, man, if Pastor Dow was like just a humble small church, whatever, not too many people and stuff, I could see her wife being okay with that, just being alone. But having all of these people, women and children, you need more eyes, more voices, more opinions, things like that, more people to back you up. So it's proficient with you know, the more you have, the more responsibility, and so yeah, with more and more is required, as well as wives. It requires you to have more wives as well. So I wanted to say that first. That's really all I wanted to talk about. Also, what I wanted to say that might be an issue is what he probably really wanted me to talk about, because this is really nothing for me to talk about. But since it's an issue with a lot of people, I made it the main issue. But the main issue is actually that in Tennessee, they have open carry laws and stuff like that. A lot of Pastor Dow's assembly members are military personnel or ex-military. They're either active reserve or ex-military. They're veterans and stuff like that. So majority of them, when you see them, they are veterans and stuff like that. They own guns and they bring their guns everywhere with them. Just naturally, they carry their guns with them in different states. So it would happen to where you would come to his assembly or come to his land and you would have a gun, and he will make sure that everybody has their permits and make sure that he would make sure all of the requirements and documentation is there on these brothers carrying weapons and things like that, in their background and things like that. um because the brothers carry their guns and stuff, naturally being military personnel or police officers, XYZ, they open carry or concealed carry, whatever the case. um because they bring them to the land, whether they leave them outside of the assembly or they bring them into the assembly. I would believe they would leave them outside of the assembly, but just in case, brothers might, you never know. He's a big name now. Somebody might feel some kind of way. People be saying all kind of stuff about you online, and then a bunch of people you allow to come to your land, they could be wanting to hurt you from what you hear online. You don't want to take it light. Pastor Dollar's a paratrooper. He's an ex-paratrooper, so he's ex-military too. So he's gonna always be in that state of mind like me. So yeah, I'm very loving and friendly to be open-hearted and welcoming to people, but I also have that militant mindset to know that even though I'm allowing these people to come and they're bringing their guns and things like that because they have licenses to, I still don't want to be stupid, even though I'm going to be loving-hearted to the brethren. And the sisters also bring they carry guns too, the sisters too. Pastor Dowell's wife on the far left, she did the 9mm training. She did the small weapons training, like, the handgun training, as far as like how to properly use a handgun. And anybody that never used a handgun before was in her class, but I left the class because it wasn't, I already knew how to use a handgun. So I just wanted to see, just in case it was something I didn't know. I don't want to act like I know it all. I'm not a weapons master. So I look like, well, I know. So I just left. But his wife did the small handgun training at the GOTS in 2010, and they were handling other training in other areas with the men. And so I went over there with the men, and different things they were training people how to do. And they were shooting guns, 40 cals, and this, that, and the third. Everybody was in that protective state of mind. Like, you're on your land, you have to be your own police. Okay, so at the same time, like I said, you are understanding and friendly, but you also want to protect yourself because you have to police yourself. Now, because people are allowed to come to his land and assemble with him with their guns with them, this is the reason why he has security in the assembly. I understand that myself because when I went to the GOTS in 2010, there was so many military personnel there, so many guns that people brought. They were spray painting their guns and all that, fatiguing their guns and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, all these people got gun M16s, this, that, and the third, all kind of stuff they was bringing. I'm like, dang, bringing all kind of guns because they allowed it to be so. Not against the law to carry their guns. They have permits and stuff. So because of that, he was like, fuck it, go ahead. But at the same time, don't feel strange that he would protect himself as well by having security in the assembly. Majority, like I said, majority of these people here are military personnel, ex-military personnel, and they are licensed to carry. So you don't want to be stupid. It's different from IUIC, where you actually murdered a little girl, 19 years old, that was in college, and you just a hothead ass little boy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? That's different. That's different, man. Policing yourself because you have your own land versus just some hot-headed ass little boy with a wife. And this little girl, 19-year old, probably died because of some multiple marriage situation, and them thinking is wrong or some shit because what's his name, Nathaniel, as they call him, Bishop Nathaniel, or Gamwan or Gamun. Nathaniel is he's the one that teaches that you're only allowed to have one wife, and because he teach that, it could have caused enmity between sisters, or the situation with Joy Morgan. So you see Pastor Dow here, he has 4 wives. He does not teach against the Torah when it says that you are allowed to have more than one wife. Okay, Yaquab, as you call Yaakov or Jacob, he had 4 wives. You know what I'm saying? Leah, Rachel, Zilpah, and Bilhah. Okay, so those were the 4 wives he had, and it was never against the Torah. It was never sin, never called sin. The Most High never convicted him, punished him, or put him in any kind of problems or troubles because he had more than one wife. No, it was never a thing to look upon as an evil thing, ever. So I just wanted to say that to defend Pastor Dahl in that situation, in that light. He also have children to protect and women to protect. So you don't want to also, we're in captivity as well. So you want to be understanding that he might play things a certain kind of way with that in mind, that he has a lot of children and women in his assembly, and you want to keep them as safe as possible. That's on your head. They trust you to keep them safe. That's a high responsibility. So when it comes to what he might choose to do or choose to say, it's not that he don't know the truth. It's just the simple fact that he does things in by the leading of the Most High to the best of his ability to keep people safe, you know. But if you talk to him one-on-one or something like that, you might get a different conversation or something like that. But if you're in front of the camera for the public, people hate you, saying comments and stuff, putting you on the news and stuff like that, you would be more secure in how you say things and do things and stuff like that. So I just wanted to defend my brother here, Pastor Dow. Yeah, man. That was the first and last time I met him, 2010. I walked up to him. He had that presence or whatever, that military presence, like, but it didn't affect me. I just walked up to him with pure intent. And when I walked up to him, he had a handgun on him. On the side, he had a handgun on the side, and I just wanted to meet him. Walked up to him, shook his hand. He looked at me real intently, and I just was like, okay. And then I shook his hand, and he noticed that I wasn't moved. And so when I shook his hand, he would like start talking to me, and I guess just wanted to see what I was about, make sure my energy was right. But I think he noticed that, not that I was just only military personnel, that I was in cahoots with special kinds of high ranking people. I think he noticed that. And so I kind of like didn't have to say anything, or I could really just tell him. I could be secretive with him without letting him know, like, I work for the queen directly. So I think he noticed these things by just us meeting face to face in my presence, which is how he was riding with me this whole time. But still, you got to keep your assembly safe. But at the same time, he always wished that he could have gave one of the sisters that was there to me, the wife, but the sisters are too afraid to like just really. You don't want to be with a brother that's suffering, right? That's his position, is to go out there and sacrifice. You don't want to be with a brother like that. You want to be safe and protected. Save me, protect me. I want a strong man. I want a military. That's what the sisters want. So the sisters, that helped them understand too, that if ever the Most High called them to go through something like what I'm going through, would the women still be with him or be beside him and stuff like that? So it just kind of made them think that, what I'm going through, it made them think and stuff like that. All of these sisters he got that are available and stuff like that, none of them would, they know who I am, but none of them would open up to like, help me out or just walk with me through this, whatever the case that I'm going through, this sacrifice that I'm going through for people, covering for people and stuff like that. Kind of like the Savior. It helped you understand too, like the Savior was going through out the places with money bags, and then he got crucified and betrayed, and people turned against him. The women turned against him, stuff like that. So it helped you see things, but at the same time, it's just like, dang, you know, his position, his calling was to govern all these people. So I don't want to, you know, that's a good thing that you are able to collectively bring all of these military people together and give them a light at the end of the tunnel, because when you enlist in the military, it's a dark place. So you being a beacon is a good thing. And that's his position, is to be the beacon to the Most High Father. We work together, I'm the way out, and he's the beacon to get these people teleported out. And we, and because he's a ex-paratrooper, that's that weight is still on his shoulders as well, working for the fucking US military and shit, and that guilt rests on your shoulders as well. But you being a slave, you have a chance to get out. So that's why he's able to do all of this stuff. He has a fair chance, a second chance, because it's not something that you really would have actually really did if you had a choice. You just a black man going through life trying to choose the best choices you want. Probably didn't want to sell drugs like me. Didn't want to sell drugs. What can I do that's honorable and shit? Find out that shit wasn't honorable, and you're trying to protect your people and shit. You get out the situation, protect your teeth. Same thing with Ray Adawid in South Jefferson, South Carolina. You was in the military, you got caught up in some bullshit, you looking for a second chance, because if you had more choices back when you were younger, you wouldn't have chose to go into the military. But that's how we end up becoming men of God. It's the only way out for us, going to the Most High, because it's like, yo, I was ignorant, or I had no choices and stuff, and you deserve a second chance. So Pastor Dow, this is a beautiful thing for me to see. It's very encouraging to me, even though I know I don't feel like I'll have even a wife. I lost my wife that I have. I won't even feel like I will have a one wife, let alone four. But it's still beautiful to see for me. It's like when you see somebody doing something right and it's beautiful according to what the Most High says. It's beautiful to see. It comforts you, but at the same time, it pains you, because your loneliness and your aloneness. But you're not hating. It's just a natural pain. It's not a covetousness. It's just like, I wish I had my own wife. But it's beautiful to see him have 4 wives and that thing work out. So it's encouraging. It's inspiring, actually, to see them sisters hang on together like that. Even if they might have personal, private matters and quarrels or whatever the case that's between them, but they hanging on. They hanging on. Um, so it's beautiful to see for me. You know. It's like a feel good hurt. Your muscles are sore because you're lifting weights real crazy, but it's starting to itch a little bit. So you rubbing it, it's itching and it's sore at the same time. But you keep rubbing it because that itch. But that it's like it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see, but it pains because you don't have something for yourself as well. So that's where it comes in. Praying to the Most High Father, and waiting patiently, or even if it could be that the Most High is not wanting you to have something or someone in this time. It could be like that. I forgot which prophet it was that he told he didn't want to get married to the people in this area, or get married to the people around him or whatever. He wanted him to stay alone because the women were no good. So he told him, commanded him not to get married. So it could be like that, it could be painful. The Most High might want something different from you. One prophet he told not to get married because the people are a mess. One prophet he told to marry a harlot, to make a message, marry a woman that's a prostitute, you know. And so the Most High is, you got to really be careful. And the things the Most High will tell you to do, it's for your benefit. It's for the overall benefit, and it's just painful sometimes to go through it. And He gives you strength to get through it. It's not for us to hate on each other. We all have our different call, our different mission, our different occupation, you know, our different order with the Most High. But we just do what we're told to do, and at the end it all works out. Whatever pains we may have, the Most High work them things out. Whatever traumas, whatever issues, whatever missing pieces we might have, like for example, I keep saying it because we know the scripture say it's not good that a man should be alone. It's not good that Adam should be alone. It's evil, actually. The opposite of good is evil. So it's evil that Adam be alone, and he was in his perfection. How much more us? So when he said the two shall come together and become one flesh, they shall become one being called man, husband and wife. That's how it starts. And then you can get more, or whatever the case, to the rainbow, da da da. I don't want to get in detail, but it starts off as one. Husband and wife, you become one flesh, and then you can add more to yourself, like a rainbow. But that's how it starts, and you're not really supposed to go into life and society and tackle the issues of life without a wife. So when you see people single going through things, struggling and trying to get through, you're not supposed to be alone going through anything in life. You're not supposed to go into society or into community life or be trying to work and get jobs and get a house and get all of this bull crap without a wife. You're supposed to be with your wife doing these things together. It's just opposite in America because the system, you're supposed to get things prepared first before you get a wife. No, you go and do it together. You're supposed to do everything together because you start off betrothed when you're young, and then you're married young, and then you grow up and you learn together, whatever the case. It sometimes could be where a younger woman be with an older man. Okay. So he could be already prepared. And so she just come into a ready-made situation. That's understandable. But it's already understood in the scriptures that the two become one flesh, because it was talking about the original marriage, which is fraternal marriage or fraternal birth. The boy and the male and the female are born together. They're born married. That's what it was talking about. So the two shall become one flesh. You leave your father and mother and become one flesh, because you're supposed to be born together already. But because of different issues, we have different ways people come together and get da 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 da. But the point is, you're supposed to go through life together, learn together, build together. You're not supposed to leave the person because things not working out. That is a laziness part on women sometimes. That want to run into a situation that's ready made. That's laziness, because then it can show that the woman has no capability or ability to sustain what she has obtained. You've obtained this beautiful family, this beautiful situation, this beautiful position, but you can't maintain it. You just obtained it. So, you know, that feeling where women feel like they just want to be taken care of and don't want to put hands to do anything, it could be a problem. That's a big problem. But I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying overall cases, we just want to be careful with all of that. And that's how it should be. The two become one flesh and come together, bop, 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 and then they go through life together. So yes, bringing it to my point again, is that what everybody could be feeling is that some of these brothers could not be married up in here, you know? So it could be where they see something like Pastor Dow with 4 wives and be like, dang, yo, He got 4 wives. I ain't even got one. So that's why I wrote a comment that he should open his assemblies up as a school, or make an online school where it's an official type of school that has a curriculum where you like almost like enrolling in college, where you like, or you going to a Bible college or something like that, or seminar or something. He should open it up like that, bring the brothers together, put y'all minds together. What a curriculum, set up a curriculum, what the curriculum should entail, what should be first, what should be last, what's most important, for the children and things. And then, once you become the age of ben mitzvah or bat mitzvah, they get the immersion, then they get their baptismal certificates, or their mikvah certificates and stuff. And then you go on further and further, learning and learning. And then you have well-versed people in the Torah that all in your assembly, you taught, and they know the curriculum, and they have had certifications that show that they graduated the course, and they know what you teach and what everyone teaches, instead of just, it eases the mind of skepticism of people just being here for what reason we don't know, all the reasons they really here. So when you have that, it eases your mind knowing that they know what you teach, know what your curriculum is, what this assembly teaches and stuff. So it brings more peace for the heart. So that's why I was saying that in his comments, so that when you do that, there could also be marriage ceremonies, because marriage is mandatory. So that could be taught. We also know that, yes, society is crazy. Some people got jobs, some people don't. Understandable. So yeah, some brothers still might end up not being married. Some sisters still might end up not being married, whatever the case. But at least you know that when you get these young brothers and children behind you certified, and they pass courses and classes of your curriculum and stuff, they are ready to get married. You don't look at them like, I'm not sure, like, I don't know if, you're not looking at them like, who are you? You're looking at them like, oh, little so-and-so, so-and-so, he got a certificate, he got a badge, he got whatever you wanted to make it to show that they pass, and they know what they talk about. They know what you teach. So you're comfortable with that young brother or these brothers walking around sisters and stuff, looking for wives and stuff, or wanting to court one of the sisters, and walking up to the elders and stuff like, I would like to court so-and-so, so-and-so, and you ain't like, who the hell are you for real? You just, what the fuck? You won't feel like that. You feel like, oh yeah, brother so and so, you passed the course. Yeah, I see you got the certificate. This, you got a badge, you got your badge, and whatever y'all wanted to do to show proof and stuff like that. Yeah, you good. I seen your grades and all of this and all of that. And so you feel comfortable because the curriculum could entail proper husbandry work, or what is a husband, the occupation of a husband and the occupation of a wife, like what entails a good husband and a good wife. And so they would know that already, so which is part of the curriculum. So you would look at them like, okay, so they would know better, like you pass the course, so how I feel about marriage and how so how we do things in Straitway. So you would be able to tell them that, and by telling them that, you know well, you wouldn't have to tell them. You just would know, like, yeah, okay, da 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 da, And so you would set things up, and da 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 da. Okay, you got a job, this, that. You would go through a whole nine, however you do it. And then you see the sister, okay, is she interested, da 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 da. She, dependent. And y'all do it careful how y'all do it, but that would ease the pain, that would ease the tension, that I be seeing and stuff like that, you know a lot of brothers I be seeing in assemblies, they be most of the brothers. So I would say some of the brothers be married already and they come to the assembly, but the younger children is what I'm looking at, you know, and the younger little girls are what I'm looking at. They gotta grow up, and these brothers are gonna be the brothers that you trust. These young men are gonna be the ones that you trust to grow up in your assembly and be the ones to marry these young girls, because that's how you want it. You want the ones in your assembly learning from you to be the ones to marry the young women, the young girls in your assembly as well. You don't want it to go outside or be outsourced, you know. Of course, everything still is with parental permission as well as the assembly permission. But still, you do everything very careful, but still you want it to be inside instead of outside. So that's what I made my comment about. Really, I wasn't trying to care. I wasn't really caring too much about him having more than one wife, because I already know that I'm a rabbi. So it's not my issue. My issue, and I wasn't. My issue is also not that he have security guards that guard within the assembly. That's not my issue either, because I know that he allowed brothers to come with licenses to carry and stuff like that, and they're gonna come with their guns. However, because they know how Pastor Dow, he has to police himself. He has his own land. So brothers will come with their guns in case anything could pop off outside. They would be able to help him defend the land. But also, he might, you never know, you might have to end up defending the land from people that could be, secretly in your situation trying to harm you. So if everybody just bring their guns, we'll just hold our guns together. But when we're in assembly, you have guards that you trust because you allow these people to open carry. You don't know if they snuck one in the thing. You're not patting people down. So you keep your security guards there to let them know, don't nobody pop anything off. Don't pump shit too up to the point where you might get shot the fuck up, because we got to protect the children and stuff like that. So that's different than IUIC. It's different than IUIC, but IUIC could be the same. And if that's the case, okay, but there should be no young women, 19 years old in college, coming to your assembly getting murdered because of what? Some guy that you got that's a captain with rank, whatever, he just was with her all the time. And he had a wife already. But if you would teach polygyny, issue would have been panned out. So Pastor Dow needed this situation, this image for me to talk about specifically so he can come directly at Nathaniel, because Nathaniel is a man of gray hairs and he knows the Torah. But I'm the rabbi, I'm the choir, so everybody know that I have kingship status or whatever the case. And a rabbi is a position over top of all of these other positions. So they trust me to be led by the Most High to speak it right. So Pastor Dow is a lot of trust, a lot of humility to have to trust a brother like me to speak on his behalf. So I'm putting it in the hands of Pastor Dow, not really saying that I have the power to do that, but at the same time, yes, being a rabbi, I do. So I'm putting it in his hands. He's the elder, he's the Zakane, the Zaquan, and he will be able to specifically handle IUIC and Nathaniel because they have a big, huge following of brothers all over the world, and Pastor Dollar is the only one suitable and capable and well equipped to handle that situation because it's a elder with an elder, a man of gray hairs matched with a man of gray hairs that both know the Torah. And so here it is. Pastor Dow can come at Nathaniel and be like, what's the issue going on here with Joy Morgan? If that was his daughter coming to your assembly and his daughter got murdered over some polygyny situation that you like plural marriage, and the scriptures teach plural marriage, but you're saying you can't have mono, and it's gotten the women, if that would have happened to his daughter, it would have been a whole nother situation, and you got Joy Morgan's mother crying out for her daughter's body. Like, where's her body at? That's extra gone. Like, I'm saying? You extra going overboard with the where's her body at, and I haven't seen the fuck is going on. You tripping. Like, nobody's saying anything. Like, yo, it's crazy. There's not that much fear in the world to where you can just stay hush about something like that. I don't care who you are, yo. Like, if you're a man of the Most High, it's not that much fear of a man in the world or fear of Satan in the world to where you don't have protection from the Most High to be brave enough to say, fuck it, this is what's going on, and just say it, what's going on, and help that, if it wasn't your fault type of thing, you would, but it seems like it's your fault because, like, Nathaniel seems like it's his fault because still don't nobody know. All of the brothers in the Torah should know. All of us, we are brothers in the Most High. Nathaniel was equally a brother like all of us. He's not above all of us. He's equal with all of us. So yes, he's gotta hold him. We gotta hold him accountable. Like, yo, I need to know what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us brothers have authority to say some shit and fuck him up and shit like that. So it's not like he's above all of us the way he can just not say anything to us or not report to anybody and tell us what the fuck going on before we like come out the box on his ass. But it's at that point, yo, come out the box. We gave you the slave card. So we tried to understand that it could have been some shaky shit going on. We played all the cards, but now ain't no more cards to play, yo. Like, ain't that much fear in the world of a man, fear the Most High more. And we need to know what the fuck going on. Got Joy Morgan's mother really crying out, like, what's going on with her daughter. That's actually what should have happened. Instead of her daughter get murdered, it should have been that, because if at the most it should have been, okay, sis, I see that this isn't working out. You're not in agreement or whatever the case. We're not seeing eye to eye. It's best that you leave the assembly, find a new assembly, find a new church home or something like that, and go home to your mother. Start over, find a new church home. That's how it normally is done. If you don't agree with some of the things the pastor's saying, whether it's some feel good stuff or you just did wrong or not, whether you did wrong or you're not dead wrong, still you have that choice to leave that assembly and go to one that suited to your liking or one that's suited to the truth. Whatever the case, people have that choice, right or wrong, to choose the church home. So what made IUIC so special to the point where you can murder a young girl because whatever the fuck, like, you, instead of sending her home to her mother, no matter how she felt, since you in a disagreement, you out of order, whatever the case, at the most it should have been, we agreed that we should excommunicate you, go back home to your mother, find a new church home, don't come back, or whatever the case. That's as max level that it goes. But it should not be where she's murdered, man. It should not be where she's murdered. So yeah, life for life. The Torah tells you that eye for an eye, tooth for life, my nigga. Somebody took her life, somebody's life got to be taken. And motherfuckers keep being protected by the law and shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? But they pick that Bible up and use that Bible to murder people. Supposedly people coming looking for life and hope and healing, and then your daughter got murdered. Life for life, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be getting murdered at your assembly. So if you take somebody's life, that should have stopped. But when you let people slide with that shit, they feel like, shit, I can keep it pushing. I keep doing what I keep doing me. Shit, we got away with murder, so we're gonna get away with murder again. It's make people feel brave to just like have all this power and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I'm saying the police itself, but us ourselves to police these other brothers, because we are in the same faith, we're in the same Torah, the same scriptures. We follow the same law, the law of the Most High, the one that was given to Mashab, as you call Moses wrongfully. We follow the same Torah, so it's for us to check each other, you know, and not really rely on the police of the American government. But I'm just saying, they are in the way because we're in captivity. But if y'all step aside, we can handle the situation like this. Nobody, there's churches in the Greek situation, churches in the Hebrew situation, non-denominational churches, all kind of churches and denominations, Jehovah Witness, you have Mormons, all kind of types of denominational types of assemblies of churches that worship Jesus Christ or whatever. So for the Hebrew sect of things, we should be able to do that ourselves. But, you know, being in captivity, it should be y'all understanding that only we can police ourselves and handle this for ourselves, being the heirs of the Torah, you know, we being the very heirs of it, you know. But anyway, it's just crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, it's nothing else really for me to say. I just would rather put it in the hands of the elder, Pastor Dow, you know, a man of gray hairs, to go at another man of gray hairs, instead, you know, before I have to like me being younger, trying to come at Nathaniel's neck ain't gonna look right. But because somebody got murdered, I was able to do that in my position of a rabbi and say some things from my authority position. And it was allowed. Nobody could do anything with me because I came from a position of authority. But at the same time, if you're talking about tit for tatting every day, every moment, really just getting in his neck, getting irritating him, getting on his nerves and shit like that, I can't really do that. I'm a young guy, you know. I look like picking on an older man. No, you know, like I want to pick on you now because somebody's daughter got murdered. So now I want to just mess with you and shit and irritate the shit out you. I'm a whippersnapper to compare to them. I can't do that. So it's in the hands of Pastor Dow. So now he can do that, pick on him, nitpick with him and shit like that, because you know you want him to snap or spaz. You want him to react in a way to where you can take his life now. You know, you want to nudge him and shit, you know, because nobody's daughter should be getting murdered at church. So it's on the level of kill, and only person I can see handling it properly is Pastor Dow. Ray Adawid, he's, you know, he could handle it too, but he don't have numbers. I'm not saying it really matters with numbers. He still can handle it. He got a voice. He got words. You know, he still has power the Most High. But I'm saying Pastor Dow got the weapons and the numbers and stuff like that. If anything became to a level of weaponry, he can handle that situation better. You know, so because Pastor Dow is just as big as Nathaniel 7. He's just as big. You know, Pastor Dow got celebrities that follow him and stuff like that. So I would put it in the hands of the elders. So this is me speaking from the position of a rabbi, but a young rabbi, me putting it in the hand of the elder, Pastor Dow, to handle the IUIC situation with Nathaniel, to see about why Joy Morgan got murdered. So I'm doing what is proper, giving it to an elder, someone that's an elder that I respect, look up to, I honor, Pastor Dow. So putting it in the hands of the elder, I yield back my hand, and I yield back the hand of my time. And with that said, I want to say shalom. Oh, also wanted to say, don't trip about him holding the Pesach. We know that if we're in the Torah, that even if you debate it all day, if you want to say, oh, you holding the Passover late, he could say, well, we hold different dates. Or if you say, well, okay, if you're bickering about it, it doesn't matter because there are two Passovers. If somebody missed the first one, he could have just held the second Passover for brothers that missed the first one. So you don't know what he's doing. Don't just, oh, he's holding he's holding the Passover late. He could have just been holding the second Passover for those who would were late, they were working or something like that, or they were on duty, or they were on a ship or overseas or whatever. They're military people, law enforcement. So you understand, so whatever the case, Pastor Dollar's well versed, man. You stop belittling him and shit like that. That's what y'all be doing, belittling him, because he be trying to keep his family safe by playing sometimes. He's trying to keep the women and children safe. But it don't mean he's ignorant at all. He's not ignorant at all. You know, he know as much as I do, or even more in some light. Also with his experience, so he would be more versed than me, you know, overall being an elder. So I'll just leave it at that. So that's why I don't really talk too much. If it's something that really need to be handled in specific, the Most High would touch me to say something. But we need each other, yo. So I don't be really trying to say too much. I'm just doing sacrificial work because my piety, I don't have dirt on me. My life lived was such a clean life. By chance, it just happened that I'm the one that can do the sacrificial work because I'm a clean person. Like the Savior, he was the cleanest one. It didn't mean that he was the best one, because he said that greater work shall you do than these. He said, greater things shall you do than these. So if there would be people that come after him that will do greater things than he wasn't saying that he was the greatest or the best. It was saying he was the holiest. He was just the purest one. He had no dirt on him, more than others. So he did the holiest work. But it will be people greater than him that will do greater works and more powerful things, more miraculous things than he. He even said it himself. So it's humbling. It's people being humble and knowing when you're supposed to say something, not supposed to say something, when you're supposed to, take a step, not take a step. So that's all I'm saying. And me saying stuff like this is another reason why I'm the one that the Most High is with the most, because I know when to step back and shit. Like I know when to step back, when to step up, stuff like that. So I just wanted to leave it like that. Don't be tripping about him holding Passover in May. It could be the second Passover. And if you don't know, like, how could you hold two Passover, then you need to learn something. But I just wanted to just leave it with that. Get off his back already. I'm putting it in his hands. I'm not washing my hands clean of Nathaniel, like saying I'm not letting it go. I'm not going to let him go at all. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to be the one that's like talking to him or stepping to his face. So I'm just going to be on the sideline. I got my elder, Pastor Dow here, that's going to handle you now. Y'all can go back for back with that as elders and stuff. But I'm going to sit in the background, like second them, being a hype man and stuff like that, So with that said, I'm going to say shalom, y'all.